This is what is going to set some of you free right now in this moment. Are you ready? Listen, receive this freeing word from the Lord. Now listen to me close. You are not your ship. You are not the ship that you're on. You are not the thing that you're trying to fight and keep afloat. You are not the thing that you're scared of losing. Your life and your ship are two different things. See, the ship is nothing more than a means and a method to do what God has called me to do in my life. You follow me? For the sailors and the captain of the ship, it's very intense. They are very wrapped up. Their identity naturally is wrapped up in their ship. They're captains, they're seafarers, they're sailors, they're first mates, they're skippers, they're whatever the heck they are, but their life revolves around the ship. But we've got to understand, at the end of the day, the ship is just my job. And the only reason the job exists is for me to provide a means for me to make a living. Amen, somebody? I am not my ship. The ship is not my life. The ship is just a method for me to live my life. You follow what I'm saying so far? You are not your ship. For Paul, the ship is just a means and a method for him to get to Rome and to further do what God has called him to do. The ship is simply just a vehicle to do something else. Amen? And what happens a lot of times, and I know I'm very guilty of this in my own life, is that my identity, my personhood, my self-worth, everything that my self-value, these things get so wrapped up in the ship. They get so wrapped up in the mean. They get so wrapped up in the method. They get so wrapped up in the vehicle that I struggle allowing the vehicle to go, because if the vehicle goes that my identity's wrapped up in, then that means that somehow I've lost. That means somehow I've been defeated. That means somehow that God didn't come through. That means somehow that my life is over. And I just need to tell somebody, listen to me, you are not your ship. Your ship is just a vehicle. Now, the ship that we're talking about might be a job, it might be religious attitudes or ways of thinking. It might be things that you've believed in your life that are not true or not any more relevant for your life or not compatible with where God is leading you. It might be a job. It might be a workplace. I don't know what your ship is. I just want you to know that you are not your ship. God, your life and your ship are two different things. Let me say it this way. My identity is about where I'm going, not how I'm getting there. And too many times, I've allowed my identity to get wrapped up in the method. I allow my identity to get wrapped up in the vehicle, and many times I can go through life and that won't be a problem until I get to a situation where God says, hey, this ship that you're wrapped up in and trying to save, it's going down. Amen? And if my life is wrapped up in my ship, then I'm going to feel like I've lost. God has not been a God of his word, and God has not come through. But because my identity is about where I'm going and not how I'm getting there, what that means is this. That means that if the vehicle sinks, that only means that God is going to provide another vehicle and another way for me to get where he has called me to go. Amen, somebody? Let me say it this way. What that means is this. That means that because my life and my ship are two different things, because my life is separated from my ship, that means a shipwreck doesn't have to mean a life wreck. Amen. Somebody needs to receive that right now today. A shipwreck doesn't have to mean a life wreck. Just because you're shipwrecked doesn't mean God has abandoned you. Just because your ship has sunk doesn't mean that God is finished with you, because your life isn't your ship. Your identity is not in your vehicle. Your identity is in where God has called you to go and who God has called you to be.